Hi. Is it going to play? There we go. Hi, everybody. My name is Nelson Buck, and this is the Mardox Daily Live Chat. Not so daily when I'm sick, but we do the show hopefully every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific, and 9 Berlin time, 9 p.m. Berlin time. So it gives the guys an idea of when we do this. We talk about anything, everything, and nothing at all at the same time on the show. So, with that said, I got a lot of people asking about Fabi. I'm glad you're on because I mentioned that it would be cool to do a series of videos like this where once a week or once every 2 weeks we do a Mardox town hall for certain, like only for paid members. And I got a lot of people asking, well, what would we talk about in in those shows? And would it be a chat like this? And I think we could take a second to talk about how this is going to be done. Were you there when I mentioned town hall, Fabi? No.
No.
Okay, so the idea basically is we set up a live chat where paid members can come in and we talk about the products and services, ideas going forward, what we have, maybe new videos coming up. We could talk about special offers we can give to the Mardox members in a closed community of the paid members. Because, like I always said, the paid members, I consider them are virtual investors, or not really investors, but let's face it, if they don't pay, there's no money, right? So there's a couple of questions we have to answer today on that, and then hopefully maybe next week we can do a town hall meeting and get the ball going with some of our paid members and get them to understand that they actually do matter in the group. They actually do make decisions in this community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like it.
So one of the questions was. Should we, if we do town hall meetings, should we make those meetings after they're recorded, like this? Should we make them available to the public of Mardox, or should those remain private to only the paid members? What's your ideas on
Yeah.
that?
My idea is to keep them only for the paid members. That's my initial idea,
Yeah. Okay.
just off the cuff.
What do you think, Dad? Any idea about that?
I'm always thinking, keep it for the members.
Okay, keep it for the members. Okay, so that's two votes. That's two votes out of well, two.
Unanimous so far.
Unanimous so far. And what about you, Nigel? What do you think? Do you think recorded meetings like that should be for everybody in the community, or should it just be for paid members only?
This would be
The town hall meetings.
the present the business recommendations. Are you saying?
Yeah, well, business recommendations, allowing our paid members to give their views and their thoughts, their vote on what's going to happen going forward with the development of our website.
Sure. To be respectful and avoid consternation or discomfort, it shouldn't be released as a free for all out of respect for the paying
Oh, that's cool.
subscribers. It seems. Yeah. First thought. Thank you.
We're unanimous. I didn't have to put my vote in. Well,
Nelson, you lose 3-1.
Yeah, it's 3-1. So there you go. No, nobody else is on here, right? It's just us four right now. Because it's funny, we got politics going on, and we don't have Josh showing up. And
He's stuck in a snowstorm.
yeah, that's it. What would you guys like to have access to in terms of paid members? I know Fabi wants to be a paid member soon. Oh, and Fabi, I need to talk to you after the show about your mailing address. I don't have it yet.
Okay.
I was going to mail off your certain items, and I didn't know where to send it to.
Mardox branded.
Yeah. Perfectly placed too. Right? Oh, you can't show that here.
You bet.
The circle and the O are perfectly placed.
Did I just give my mailing address right here, right now?
No. We'll do it after the show. And,
got a definition for politics too. You distill it down. It's one word: competition.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. It's competition.
Great.
Huh?
That's great. That's a great description.
Yeah, boil it down to competition. That's it. Yeah.
I don't do politics. I have to suggest it's inevitable.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to have to choose who a treasurer and all that stuff is. Who's going to handle the voting. It would be nice to have a chair in the meetings. It doesn't necessarily have to be me. It could be anybody in the group. to make it more official, for you guys to be part of this. We can even go as far as calling it a committee. It's not a big deal. I just like the fact that it's recorded, and then after the fact, our other paid members can come back and watch the show for either say I didn't get a chance to be there. They can read and see what was, or listen and watch what was talked about, and or they can say, hey, wait a minute, you said 15 T-shirts per person, and here it is. You see, it's like an audio recorded version of what was said. Oh, okay. Stop what I said. No. Okay, so we'll talk baseball.
Hey, John, you might just be in time for a vote. In a nutshell.
So, John, say yes, yay or nay on your vote.
Yeah, will you tell me what I'm voting about?
Oh, fine.
The pie without the crust or with?
Okay.
What are you?
Okay, were you there, John, when I mentioned the idea of setting up the Mardox Town Hall meetings?
Yeah, a while back, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's true. It was a while back. We did have the idea a while back. But recently, in the last couple shows, I mentioned that we want to set up a town hall meeting concept, either once every couple of weeks, once a week, whatever, or when it's needed. And then the discussion was whether it should be paid members or free or everybody, and it was paid members only. So now the next question for today is: should the recorded audio video recordings of these town hall meetings, similar to what we're doing here right now, should they be public for everyone at Mardox, or should it only be paid members who get to see the final video of what was recorded during the meeting? Being that it's only paid members in there.
Yeah, being that it's only paid members. That's an interesting question.
Now he's going to philosophize on it.
It's an interesting question, but since it's basically a perk for paid members, because if free members get to watch the recordings, and there's not necessarily an incentive for them to want to become a paid member to be a part of the actual live event. Right. Because we're kind of trying to encourage people to actually come on, to get out of their comfort zone and come on camera and so on and so forth. And that's the incentive thing. And if we allow the recording for the free members, then the incentive is gone.
Oh, okay. So what are you voting then? Yay or nay?
No on letting the free members have the recording.
Okay, so let's make it official that Bill 4250 is now accepted as not for users. No, just kidding. No. Okay. So So you're okay with the idea that free members don't have access to that? If they want to come in and see what we're talking about, they got to become a paid member.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, one little thought here. I don't know if the software and the protocol allows for it, but maybe there should be it is also something of a shop window. So maybe there should be once a month or once a week where free members sample, they can access or something. Am I on the right track here?
Well, it's not going to be daily. The live chat's going to remain the live chat. That's open to anybody and everybody. Because that's the core of our community right now, is to be able to watch these videos. The town hall would be 1 day a week or one every 2 weeks where we do a show, but it's only going to be paid members only. No, it's not broadcasted. It's just recorded locally. Now you're saying the town hall meeting, you should say every once in a while we should have one that's broadcasted public, correct?
No, I didn't realize. I think we're no.
Okay, you're talking about the daily live chat, correct?
I'm getting more of a handle on what is available and when, and so as you were, I would say.
That's it. Well, the live chat, what we're doing right now is live. That's being broadcasted like right now on Twitch. This is all available to whoever wants to come in and see it.
Oh, now I understand. And during the free, they can be given an idea of what's on the table for paid members and incentivized thereof.
That's right. We don't know. We don't generally go around, except for John and myself, that bring up the cup, so you get this subliminal advertising, Mardox, and other than that, but we don't go active on the show, on the live chats, and say, hey, join up today and you get to have this. That's not the focal point of it, but if someone does ask, what do I get to be a paid member? Yeah, we talk about it here.
Yeah, it's okay to talk about Mardocs on the live chat, but it's not like a webinar from Mardocs or so.
That's it.
May I ask you, Nelson, Mardocs? What's that about? Is that Martians are allowed to dock here, or what? What do we
Close
do?
enough. Close enough. Way back in the day, actually, about 6 months before I met my wife, it's a funny story. But 6 months before I met my wife, I was watching TV, Sci Factor, and there's an episode of Sci Factor. You know, the paranormal. You know, you remember Sci Factor? I'm sure you've seen it. And it was in one of the episodes. The person says, "Let me look up the paranormal database." And when they did it, over the person's shoulder, looking at the screen, you saw MAR, white letters on blue, and DOX, blue letters on white. And I said, "Hey, that's a pretty neat domain. I want to go get it." I went to go register the domain, and it was already taken. I went to look it up, and it happened to be one of my buddies in Australia who had it. The domain name was owned by a company called Meridian Documents, and they would do document scanning, and they went out of business. So he was left over with the website, and I said, "I really want that domain name." He says, "Well, I really have a $5,000 debt with these guys." No, that they owed him. So I said, "Okay, for $5,000, you give me the domain name." He says, "It's all yours." So I bought the domain. It was meant for something else, and we turned it into what we have today. So the name doesn't really coincide with 100% with what we have. It's more of a brand name more than anything else now. Like Coca-Cola, or give me a name, guys, that doesn't really mean anything. It's just a word. You know, Condor. You know, it's like
Yiggy.
Yeah, Yiggy. There you go, Yiggy.
Spelled the same way backwards and forwards.
You got it. You know, so sometimes the names don't mean what you think they mean. But the story behind it really was a fluke. I saw it on TV. I liked it. Tried to register it. My buddy had it. Like, oh, I want it. And I paid a fortune for it at the time. If I would have just waited a year or so, he would have released it, and I would have been able to pick it up for $70.
So then what happened? You said it was 6 months prior to meeting your wife.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story. That's a story that led to almost 19 years of deep thinking. Right, honey? What? Love you. No, so no, actually, I hired my wife because I fired everybody the same day. These guys that I had hired were doing sales and processing the orders and stuff. We had a structure in the office.
A marginal paradox.
Yeah, there you go. And I had 5,000 square feet of space. So you know, we had an office space, 2 floors of a building, and so they came up to me and they said, "We want a raise," and I said, "You want raises? Oh, that's fun." He said, "You got big contracts coming in. We know how much you actually make on these contracts," and they had no clue because they didn't take into account servers, websites, and stuff like that, and T1 lines and the whole 9 yards. I wasn't making a cent after paying them. There's times I was taking money out of my own pocket to pay them. And I said, "You guys want raises?" "We want raises, and we're going on strike." I said, "Go get your picket boards." And so basically, I said, "You know, here's your pink slips, and bye-bye." You know. And so we ended. I terminated their work that day. This is where it gets really funky. I had a stack of resumes on my desk, and I remember looking at the first one, and let's just assume the first one said Jennifer on it. Nothing like my wife's. And I looked at it, and I said, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom." And I put it back on the pile, and I went to the bathroom. I came back. I took the first sheet off, dialed the number, and I looked at the sheet because I was about to say the first name. I remember seeing it. I went, "Oh, is Tina there?" And my wife answers, and you know, we talked and all that kind of stuff. And at one point, she goes, "Well, what do I need to do for work? What does it require of me?" I said, "Well, can you answer the phone?" And her response to me was, "Well, duh, I answered it, didn't I?" So I said, "Well, you got the job." You know, so she came in, and we got the rolling going again. But what really caught my attention was when I came back into my office later that day, I noticed there was a piece of paper on the floor under my desk, and I hate things sitting under my desk. And it was the first resume that was under my desk. That should have been on top of that pile. There was no open windows, there was no ventilation, there was no air conditioning, no fans. That sheet of paper should have never slipped off, and that came off that pile. So it's kind of neat. And then about 2 months later, we started dating, and then holding hands. And 18 years later, I'm talking to you guys now from her basement. And I say her basement Her
That's as far as you made it, Nelson, the basement, right?
yeah, her basement that I'm renovating
Yeah.
with her money. No.
Because Nelson, you know that everything that's hers is hers, and everything that's yours is hers too.
Yeah, but she doesn't want everything that's mine. When I told her when I died, do you want my brain? She goes, oh, hell no. That goes in the hole with everything else.
Abby, you know my wife? Same thing.
It's a good, it's
I
a
think
good,
it's a women's thing, yeah.
it's a typical woman thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's in our DNA.
John, I noticed you voted without asking your wife.
Big man on
Yeah.
campus.
I take that chance sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Later she'll ask me what I voted on.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So yeah,
You can always plead insanity. It works.
I'll try that one.
I was nuts. Fabi, how big's your house? You were in a bedroom one time, then you had a blanket hung up behind you. Now you're in another room.
Yeah.
How does this work?
Because I travel so much, I'm not in the same place all the time.
Okay, you're not at your house right now.
Well, right now I'm actually at my parents' house in South Dakota.
Oh, cool. Okay, so they're there now with you.
Yeah.
Oh, they're listening to this. Hi.
No, they like to stay up late and then they like to sleep in.
Oh, okay, they're still
They're probably still sleeping.
they're still teenagers at heart.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yes.
That's good. That's good.
Forever.
Keep young. Keep young. Oh, jeez. No, but that was pretty much what we were being asked. What was a town hall thing? A lot of I mean, we had 8 new paid members over the weekend, which blew my mind because people are. Well, I'm gonna get I want to give my word, so they became paid member. You know. Hey, John, if that's food, we want some too.
No,
You-
nothing to eat.
You don't want to share with the group?
It's nothing to eat, dude.
You can still share with the group if it's a love letter. Oh, jeez. Oh my God, my back of my office looks like a mess. Oh, Jesus. There.
It looks like John is saying, "Uh-oh, I voted without your permission." I would.
Oh, shit. I'm in crap.
Squirrel Wars.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow.
You never argue with a woman, even if you're right.
But you're never right.
Oh,
No, I'd end up in a doghouse and we don't own the dog.
well, yeah, that's it. Hey, Dad.
Because when we're right, and when we're wrong, we're still right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
course.
You know my wife pretty well.
That's it. I'm hoping James is watching. I tried to get a hold of James today, and I couldn't get a hold of him. I hope James is watching. And yeah, so what we're going to need to do is maybe start the first town hall meeting next, maybe this week sometime, and actually sit down and talk about what we're going to do for upcoming events, and to keep these new members interested in the idea. John, you frozen, John?
No.
Oh, okay. It looked like you were frozen on the screen. It looked like the. Yeah, similar.
Maybe
yeah.
I was.
Yeah. So so sometimes we'll have to sit down and figure out when everybody can be part of the group, and we can do our first town hall meeting and bounce some ideas around. If you guys got ideas for upcoming projects and stuff that needs to get done, John, if I swear to God, if you say anything about landing pages, I will shoot you.
Are you reading minds now?
I will go to Germany. I will arrange to have your tool sitting in a glass of water beside your bed in the morning.
Oh, goodness gracious. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I can see it in your face.
Was I
Because
thinking
one,
that loud?
Well, okay, it's one wrinkle on this side and one on that side when they're kind of like this angle and a little curved. That ain't pages. I've been sick. Don't you
Yes.
have any compassion, man?
Yes,
Okay.
I have sympathy and compassion and empathy.
I'm getting better. Sorry, I apologize for the noise. Before the show started yesterday, I canceled the show and I went to bed. I don't know what time really I went to bed at. It's somewhere between 4 and 6, somewhere around there. My wife medicated me, and then I woke up. It said 5:49. I thought it was 5:49 p.m.
How's it
And,
going?
and what was funny was I was wondering why my wife and my daughter had gone to bed so early in the day, not realize it was 5:49 a.m. the next day. John's trying to process two things at once. He's processing girlfriend on one side and Nelson on the other.
Yeah.
No, I read it, so I know what you're
Oh,
talking
okay, okay, okay. You actually read, okay.
So Nelson, what did you do then after you figured out that it was early morning?
I kind of panicked because today I had bills to pay, and then it was like in my mind it was like, oh my god, I need money right now, and
about.
and then I had to kick in. 'Cause I'm still in a daze here, so 6 o'clock is rolling around. I'm going, wait a minute, it's only 6 a.m. I can't get a hold of anybody yet for bills, you know. But it's yeah, it's a time of the year where people are paying me for their stuff, pool openings and stuff like that. And I have arrangements, you know, they want me to show up and give them the contracts, and here's a check, you know. But it's like, oh my god, I gotta go find all this money. And it's like I had like a little panic attack for a second. They're going, you know, I could feel the stress in my chest, like, oh my god, I gotta pay bills. And it's not normal. It's like I was thinking about that like in a like only like two-thirds awake. You know, like this would be like the same situation where you'd be doing your coffee with no underwear on and not realize it. And there's people.
I say to my wife, the sage is sick of sickness, therefore he is not sick. And she comes back with things like, oh, stop it.
Yeah, kind of like what I wrote. I said, doctors, I only have a few days to live. Turns out I'm allergic to work. I've been contaminated all these years. Radioactive work. No, but I gotta admit, I don't get sick very often. But when it hits me like a freight train. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I remember last time I was real sick. It was
Oh, we all remember it.
those sick sleeps. It's like you wake up. It's like, what time is it? What day is it? What year is it?
Did you guys?
Where am I?
Did you guys watch the last video? Go back and watch it. There's a point where I said, okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go do something. I muted Zoom. But what you guys don't see here, there's a control panel over here on your screen, and I gotta mute my microphone in that window, not the Zoom one. You guys on Zoom didn't hear what happened. What was on the microphone got picked up. Me blowing my nose and going, oh, Jesus Christ. Dogecoin, a truckload. I apologize. But it's the example of you've got to you always got to think the microphone's hot. You always have to assume the microphone's open. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Politicians still haven't learned that yet.
Yeah.
But that's how we hear all the juicy stuff, you know. So.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say something. Now you said that, I can't say it.
Okay.
Yeah. Think Trump. Trump's famous phrase off mic. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to hear juicy stuff off mic from him, because he just gives it all to us.
Do you guys think it's actually Trump writing those tweets, or does he have somebody out there just writing the stuff just to publicity?
It's him.
It's him for real. You think is that stupid to do that?
It's him.
It's too many exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Too many typos. No, it's him. It's
you believe it's him?
Yeah,
Oh,
I do. I don't have any reason to believe that it's not him.
He's completely non-presidential.
You tell me, and he's proud of it.
Yeah, but
I mean, during the election, right? He said that he could be so presidential that we would be bored with him being presidential.
yeah, right.
But that never happened. So.
There are rumors that he goes to post something and he says, "What do you guys think about this?" And he's told, "No, delete that." It's apparently it's like he really does ask. Apparently, what do you think of this? Wow,
Nelson, he's the same as he was on his show there, The Apprentice. He hasn't changed a bit.
Oh no, he hasn't. He hasn't.
I think it would be being non-presidential wouldn't be so bad if one was being effective and being, moralistic and blah 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 blah. If one was doing positive things for the country, so on and so forth.
Right.
But being non-presidential and being thankfully, I am a very spiritual person, so I don't
Hey, whoa, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah, so yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Brianna, hey, where you at?
I know it's loud out here, isn't it?
Yeah. So how are you doing?
Where are we on the
Trying
highway?
to
Yeah, her audio is going to be a little jumpy, I think, because she's on a cell phone.
Where is she?
She's at the park, I think.
Mm.
Yeah,
Just froze. Oh, you're back, Brian.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your audio coming in is all broken up, Brianna, but it's not a big problem. You can watch.
I got to make that move.
Yeah.
Font
put
farewell, everyone.
RMW.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah, go-
I'll see you around Skype, as it were, perhaps, Nelson.
Yeah, yeah.
Blessings, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye for now.
will do.
Have a look.
Bye, Nigel. Nice seeing you.
You too. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Brianna, I'm gonna mute you for now, Brianna, because the background noise is just immense. There. Okay, cool. There we go. We'll continue. No, but do you guys think that he's real? I mean, there's people saying that he's not really the president. This is just a figurehead, and that America is fallen to a point where there's no actual presidency anymore. It's just a person in position.
He is the president. He does hold the office, but yeah,
Did Brianna leave?
the way he's running the office is
Childish.
like anything that's ever been seen thus far in America.
Oh, in any country, even people, dictators who are insane, don't run it the way he does.
Let's
Yeah,
get
well-
Brianna's thoughts on that. She's
Yeah,
American.
but I don't know if she can speak. Her upload rate may not be fast enough on her phone.
Fabi, sorry, not Brianna. Fabi.
I can speak for a moment.
Oh, okay, go for it.
All right, go for it.
What do you think? Do you think what do you think about the president? Is he legit? Is it childish how he's tweeting all this stuff? What do you think?
I think Trump is a jerk.
Oh,
I love
my.
it. I love it. I love it. Hey, I'm in Canada. I wait a minute, Fabi, you're in South Dakota. Are you on the reservation?
No, not at the moment. About 90 minutes.
I would go there first before you comment.
You bet.
Well, how do you feel about?
That may run in our next election. But I think what we're going to see for the first time ever is we're going to see a whole laundry list of candidates running for every party and also as independents, because nowadays with social media and the way everything is set up, it's easier for someone to run for president now under the old system. This system that we have was created before there was mass communications, even before we had an interstate system and before we could travel so readily like we can now. So it's an old system that actually needs to be updated. The old system needs to be updated. I'm talking like the Electoral College and the voting system for the way we vote in a president needs to be updated to reflect the times that we're in of having readily accessible transportation. We have communications like phone, TV, internet, email, social media, all this kind of stuff. So I believe, and I'm excited for our next election, because we're going to see, my prediction is we're going to see a whole list of candidates run. And then we're also going to have a president. We're going to see a president that is maybe like complete opposite of a Trump-like president. And I don't believe that Trump will get reelected. That's also my prediction. So you heard it right here on mardocs.com.
Yeah,
/Mardocs1.
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
it.
running, Fabi?
I hope Trump doesn't get reelected.
There's a lot that hope that. At the moment I'm sitting, Danny,
Yeah. Oh.
I can see.
-1 for Patty.
I don't want to be the first male, first female, first white or black guy. I want to be the first Canadian to run as American president.
we would have to change one rule, and that would be that.
Hey, rules are meant to be changed. Is it a God's rule?
Well, it's the rule that was set up during when the country was founded, and you have to have been born in the United States to be president, and you have to be at least
For
35
some
years of
reason,
age.
Say that again.
there's a law that
Yeah, we're not getting you, Brianna. It's all chopping out. Sorry about that.
Okay, that last part probably was cut off.
That you have to be born in the United States, and you also have to be at least 35 years old. So, for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not eligible to run for president, even though he was the governor of California. He could never be president. But there are people that are wanting to try to change that. I don't know if that'll ever get.
I think they should change it actually. But then you run the risk of people coming in from other countries like Kuwait and saying, "Hey, I want to be president. I'm so good. Chocolate beer for everybody." Gets in, and then it turns into a Kuwait government, and you may not like that based on what we have now.
Yeah, it's
I
an
think
interesting rule. Yeah. What's your take, Jim?
Yeah, I in one sense, I think it's good that there is that that delimitation as to you have to be in government, you have to be a citizen, but there's a lot of people out there in this world who could do the same job a lot better. Like Schwarzenegger, I'm sure Schwarzenegger would do it no problem at all.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Donald Trump.
Hey, Jan?
Didn't the other one was a movie star? Wasn't he Ronald Reagan?
Yeah.
Good job on American history, Nelson.
I know, but what is it? Back to the Future. Can you guys hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me? Cuckoo!